pitching downrange.
Very dramatic pictures of the massive 747 crash at the U.S. Air Base in Afghanistan.
A rocket blasts off in Texas, and massive metal arms catch it midair. That's real, and it's just the beginning. This video shows some wild aviation moments caught on camera. Planes crashing, daring rescues, and crazy inventions. Some are miracles, others end badly. Each one's a shock. The last one will leave you stunned. Uncover the insane. Stick around for stories you won't believe. Rocket grabbed midair. A massive rocket thundered into the Texas sky on October 13, 2024. Its 33 engines roaring with 17 million pounds of thrust. SpaceX's Starship, the largest rocket ever built, soars from Boca Chica. Minutes later, the Super Heavy booster separates, flipping back toward Earth. Then something wild happens. Two giant mechanical arms, nicknamed Mechazilla, snatch the 232-foot booster midair, catching it just above the launch pad. This is a world first, a game-changer for reusable rockets. Video footage shows the arms clamping the booster with pinpoint precision. A feat so daring it seems like science fiction. The crowd erupts and posts online explode with awe, one user calling it insane precision. The Starship upper stage continues, hitting 25,000 mph and orbiting Earth before splashing down in the Indian Ocean. This test, SpaceX's fifth successful flight, proves rockets can be caught and reused, slashing costs for future Moon and Mars missions. No injuries, no chaos, just pure engineering triumph. NASA, watching closely, needs Starship for its 2026 lunar landing. The booster's catch, powered by 33 Raptor engines, marks a leap toward affordable space travel. What happens when choppers crash midair? Stick around for a tragedy that'll grip you. Choppers collide in tragedy. On April 23, 2024, two Malaysian Navy helicopters rehearsed for a parade over Plummet Naval Base. At 9:30 a.m., disaster struck. A home helicopter clipped the rotor of a Fennec, sending both spiraling down. One slammed into a running track, the other into a swimming pool. All 10 crew members, 7 in the Hum, 3 in the Fennec, died instantly. Video footage captured the horrifying moment, showing rotors tangling and debris scattering. The Royal Malaysian Navy confirmed no survivors. Witnesses described a loud crash, then ghostly silence as smoke rose. The helicopters were practicing for the Navy's 90th anniversary, a routine drill turned deadly. Investigations point to a possible miscommunication or pilot error, with the HOM flying at 500 feet, too close to the Fennec's path. Malaysia's government launched a probe, grounding similar aircraft. This tragedy, one of the worst in Malaysian military history, left families devastated. A Navy officer's voice cracked on radio, reporting the loss. The wreckage, twisted metal on the track and pool, told a grim story. Reveal the unreal. What happens when a car takes flight? Stay tuned for a wild ride. Car soars like a plane. On June 28, 2021, a strange craft roared down a runway in Nitra, Slovakia. It wasn't just a car, it was Klein Vision's air car, a vehicle that transforms into a plane. In 2 minutes and 15 seconds, its wings unfolded, and it lifted off, climbing to 8,200 feet. Powered by a 160-horsepower BMW engine, it hit 118 miles per hour, flying 62 miles to Bratislava in 35 minutes. Video shows it soaring over green hills, then landing smoothly. After touching down, it switched back to car mode, and CEO Stefan Klein drove it into the city center. This was no stunt. It was a test of a future where cars fly. The aircar completed 40 hours of test flights, proving it could handle tight turns and long glides. Klein Vision's next model aims for 186 miles per hour with a 300-horsepower engine. The company plans 4-seat and amphibious versions, eyeing a 2026 launch. No crashes, no chaos, just a glimpse of tomorrow's travel. Unleash the crazy. What happens when a jet's engine bursts into flames? Keep watching for a fiery scare. Engine erupts in flames. On April 13, 2025, United Airlines Flight 2325 took off from Denver International Airport bound for Edmonton, Canada. Seconds later, a loud bang shook the Boeing 737-800. Flames shot from the right engine, lighting up the night sky. A passenger's video captured orange sparks bursting out, while 153 passengers and 6 crew members braced themselves. The cause? A rare rabbit strike sucked into the engine at 8:05 p.m. The pilot, calm under pressure, radioed air traffic control reporting the fire. "Rabbit through the number 2, that'll do it," he said, as heard on live ATC audio. The plane turned back, landing safely in Denver within minutes. Fire trucks rushed to the scene, but no one was hurt. The FAA launched an investigation, noting that wildlife strikes hit over 20,000 planes in the U.S. last year, though rabbit strikes are rare, with only 4 reported. United swapped the plane, and passengers reached Edmonton hours later. This fiery scare, caught on camera, showed how fast things can go wrong. Dive into the wild. What happens when a cargo plane splits apart? You won't want to miss this. Cargo plane snaps in two. On April 7, 2022, a DHL Boeing 757 cargo plane lifted off from Juan Santa Maria Airport in Costa Rica, heading to Guatemala. At 10:25 a.m., just minutes into the flight, the pilot reported a hydraulic failure. The plane, carrying only 2 crew members, turned back for an emergency landing. As it touched down, the jet skidded off runway 07, spun wildly, and broke apart. The tail and one wing snapped clean off, leaving the yellow fuselage in a grassy ditch. Video footage shows firefighters spraying foam on the wreckage to prevent a blaze. Both crew members walked away, one checked for minor injuries. The crash halted airport operations for 5 hours, delaying 57 flights and 8,000 passengers. The plane, loaded with 22 tons of cargo, suffered a hydraulic pump failure, investigators later found. Costa Rica's aviation authority reopened the runway by 3:30 p.m., but the incident sparked questions about maintenance checks. No one on the ground was hurt, a relief given the plane's violent split. Discover the shocking. What happens when a balloon slams into a mountain? Don't miss the next wild tale. Balloon crashes into rocks. On June 15, 2025, a hot air balloon soared over Turkey's Ilara Valley, a tourist hotspot famed for its fairy chimney rocks. At 7:05 a.m., 19 Indonesian tourists and their pilot took off, expecting a scenic ride. Suddenly, a fierce wind gust hit. The pilot, battling to land, lost control. The balloon slammed into rocky cliffs, flipping the basket. Video shows the deflated canopy draped over jagged stones. The pilot's feet tangled in a rope, pulling him under the basket. He didn't survive. All 19 passengers were injured, with 12 hospitalized for broken bones and cuts, but none faced life-threatening conditions. A second balloon crashed nearby that morning, injuring 12 more tourists. Aksaray's governor reported 30 balloons launched that day, a busy Sunday in Cappadocia's skies. The Turkish Aviation Authority grounded all flights to investigate wind safety protocols. This crash, one of Turkey's deadliest balloon incidents, stunned onlookers who saw the basket smash into the rocks. Expose the shocking. What happens when a parasail ride goes horribly wrong? Stay glued for a heart-pounding drop. Parasail Plummet into the sea. On May 30, 2022, Supraja Alaparthi, 33, her son and nephew went parasailing off the Florida Keys. At 2:45 p.m., their boat hit rough seas near Pigeon Key. Strong winds, gusting up to 35 miles per hour, pegged the parasail, making it uncontrollable. The captain, Daniel Couch, cut the tow line, hoping to save them. Instead, the trio dropped into the ocean, dragged by the inflated canopy. Video shows them crashing into a bridge, the impact killing Supraja instantly. Her son and nephew, both under 12, suffered broken bones but survived. The family's lawsuit claims the operator ignored weather warnings and lacked proper safety gear, like extra life jackets. The Monroe County Sheriff's report confirms the boat carried 10 passengers with no injuries on board. Florida's White Mezcal Act, passed in 2014, requires weather checks, but enforcement is spotty. Over 3 million people parasail yearly, with 70 deaths in 30 years, per the Parasail Safety Council. This tragedy sparked calls for stricter rules. Were you ever in a scary water sport moment? Comment below, unleash the wild. What happens when a rescue helicopter spins out of control? Don't miss this dizzying tale. If you're hooked on these wild aviation stories so far, hit that like button and comment your thoughts. Stick around for more heart-pounding moments that'll leave you speechless. Rescue chopper's wild spin. On June 4, 2019, a 74-year-old hiker named Catalin Metro fell on Piestewa Peak in Phoenix, Arizona, injuring her face and hip. At 9:00 a.m., Phoenix Fire Department strapped her into a Stokes basket for a helicopter rescue. As the chopper lifted her, the basket spun wildly for 40 seconds, hitting 175 rotations. Video from ABC 15 shows her twirling like a top in the rotor wash. A control line meant to stop spinning snapped, leaving the crew helpless. They raised and lowered the basket, but it kept whirling until forward flight slowed it. Catalan, dizzy and nauseous, reached the hospital with no major injuries, though later claimed $290,000 in medical bills for bruising and a spinal issue. The rescue, one of only 2 such spins in 210 missions over 6 years, led to a $450,000 settlement with Phoenix in 2021. Her husband thought she'd die, watching helplessly. Expose the chaos. What happens when a helicopter crashes into a plane? You won't believe what's next. Helicopter smashes plane. At 9:30 a.m. on November 3, 2024, a Robinson R-44 helicopter approached a hangar at Pearland Regional Airport in Texas. The pilot, alone on board, aimed to land. Suddenly, the chopper veered out of control. CCTV footage captured it slamming into a parked Cessna 172, its rotor blades slashing the plane's fuselage. The impact sent metal flying, and the helicopter's blades kept spinning, smashing the Cessna for 20 seconds before stopping. 3 workers rushed from the hangar, expecting the worst. Amazingly, the pilot climbed out, unscathed, no medical help needed. The Cessna, empty at the time, was heavily damaged, with its nose crumpled. The FAA launched an investigation, suspecting a gust of wind or pilot error caused the loss of control. Pearland Airport, a busy general aviation hub, sees 150 takeoffs daily, but reported no other incidents that day. The crash disrupted operations for hours. This wild moment, caught on camera, shows how fast things can go wrong. Reveal the unreal. What happens when a cargo jet falls from the sky? Keep watching for a tragic twist. Cargo jet's fatal plunge. On April 29, 2013, a Boeing 747-400 cargo jet roared off the runway at Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, loaded with 5 military vehicles. At 7:03 a.m., the national airlines flight, bound for Dubai, climbed to 200 feet. Then it stalled. Dashcam footage shows the jet tilting nose up, rolling side to side, then plummeting into a fireball. All 7 crew members, 6 from Michigan, 1 from Kentucky, died instantly. The plane, weighing 350 tons, carried 80 tons of cargo. Investigators found the vehicles weren't properly secured, shifting backward during takeoff, disrupting the jet's balance. The black box recorded the pilot's last words, "We're going down." The crash, one of Afghanistan's deadliest aviation disasters, sparked debate over cargo loading protocols. National Airlines, a key military contractor, faced scrutiny, but no evidence supported Taliban claims of shooting it down. The explosion left a crater 50 feet wide. Have you ever seen a crash this brutal? Comment below, unleash the madness. What happens when a pilot's cockpit turns into chaos? Don't miss this wild story. Cockpit chaos in the sky. On August 12, 2021, Nareen Malcolm-John, a skilled aerobatic pilot, took her Extra 330LX monoplane up for a training flight near Moscow. At 3:15 p.m., she started a barrel roll at 3,000 feet. Suddenly, the canopy shattered, blasting her with 200 mph winds. The noise deafened her, and glass shards blurred her vision. Malcolm-John's radio crackled with her instructor's voice. "Just keep flying." She struggled to breathe, eyes burning, but held the controls steady. The plane, shaking wildly, dropped 500 feet. Malcolm-John, fighting panic, landed safely after 10 minutes. Later, she found the cause. A loose canopy locking pin missed during her pre-flight check. She'd just recovered from COVID, skipping her usual eye protection, which worsened the ordeal. Her vision took 28 hours to clear. Malcolm-John shared the video on YouTube in 2023, urging pilots to double-check equipment. The incident, one of only 3 canopy failures in Extra 330s since 2015, stunned aviation fans. Dive into the chaos. What happens when a plane bursts into flames on landing? You won't believe the next tale. Fiery runway disaster. On May 5, 2019, Aeroflot Flight 1492 left Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport at 6:02 p.m., carrying 78 people. Minutes into the climb, lightning struck the Sukhoi Superjet 100, frying its electronics. The pilots, fighting dead controls, turned back. At 6:30 p.m., the plane hit the runway hard with full fuel tanks. Video shows it bouncing twice, then bursting into flames. Fire engulfed the rear, black smoke choking the sky. Passengers scrambled down emergency slides as fire crews battled the blaze. Tragically, 41 people died, including 2 children trapped by the fire. 37 survived, with 4 crew members among them. A survivor praised the flight attendants, saying, "They pulled me out alive." Russia's aviation authority reported 12 lightning strikes on planes that year, but crashes are rare, fewer than 0.1% of cases. The investigation blamed pilot error, noting the rough landing sparked the fuel fire. The disaster, one of Russia's worst, left scars. Expose the madness. What happens when a paraglider falls from the sky? Stay for a heart-stopping drop. Paraglider's terrifying Tangle. In Organya, Spain on July 25, 2022, paraglider Kevin Phillip launched off a cliff for an acro trick, a high-risk stunt with spins and flips. At 2,500 feet DMI, strong turbulence hit. His brake line snagged, tangling the canopy. Video from his helmet cam shows the wing crumpling like a rag, sending him into a 100 miles per hour freefall. Phillip yanked his first reserve parachute. It failed, caught in the twisted lines. With the ground rushing up, he grabbed his backup chute, ripping it open 1 second before impact. The orange parachute unfurled,
Oh my God!
slowing his fall just enough to land hard but alive in a rocky field. He walked away with bruises, no broken bones. Phillip, a Swiss pro with 10 years of experience, later posted the clip online, noting 1 in 500 acro flights hit such snags. The U.S. Paragliding Association says 3% of paragliders face reserve deployments yearly. This near-death scare stunned viewers. Ever cheated danger like this? Comment below. Unleash the wild. What happens when a plane's door vanishes midair? Don't miss this jaw-dropping chaos. Plane door ripped off mid-flight. On January 5, 2024, Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 climbed out of Portland, Oregon, heading for Ontario, California. At 16,000 feet, just 10 minutes after takeoff at 5:07 p.m., a mid-cabin door blew open on the Boeing 737-9 MAX. Passenger video shows a gaping hole where the door should be, papers and phones sucked out into the night. The plane, carrying 171 passengers and 6 crew, shuddered as air roared through. A mother held her son's shirt to keep him in his seat. The pilot, steady under pressure, turned back, landing safely in Portland by 5:30 p.m. No one was hurt, but the plane, only 2 months old with 145 flights, stunned investigators. The National Transportation Safety Board found a faulty door seal, one of 12 such incidents on 737 since 2020. The door, meant to stay sealed, failed under pressure at 26,000 pounds per square foot. The FAA grounded 171 similar planes for checks. This heart-stopping moment, caught on camera, shook everyone aboard. Reveal the chaos. What happens when a jet flies into a tornado's path? Stay locked in for a stormy scare. Jet outruns a twister. On January 9, 2024, a Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 took off from Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport at 3:20 p.m., bound for Tampa. As it climbed to 10,000 feet, 2 tornadoes tore through Broward County below. A passenger's shaky video captures one twister's dark funnel just 2 miles away, spinning at 110 miles per hour. The plane, carrying 142 passengers and 6 crew, flew perilously close to the storm's edge. Winds howled outside, rocking the jet, but the pilots kept steady. Air traffic control rerouted the flight, adding 15 minutes to avoid the vortex. The EF1 tornadoes damaged 40 homes and injured 3 people on the ground, per NOAA's report. Only 1% of flights encounter such close tornado calls yearly, making this a rare scare. The plane landed safely in Tampa at 4:05 p.m., with no injuries. Passengers, rattled but relieved, shared the clip online, showing the twister's scary swirl below. Southwest praised the crew's quick thinking. Unleash the madness. We've reached the end of this wild ride. Liked it? Hit like and subscribe for more crazy content. Comment your scariest flight moment below.